once again, y'all. This is Sacrificial Conversation, the Teddy and Monica show on WFTB 104.1 FM, Tab Nashville Gospel Radio. We are so excited to be with you all again. We were on vacation last week for the holiday. Me and my wife went to Hilton Head, South Carolina. And when I tell you all, it was beautiful. We learned a lot about the ocean and the ecosystem down there. And they told us, you all, that the ecosystem in South Carolina is one of the most brilliant filtrating ecosystems, in the world. They have dolphins, oysters, they have all types of fish that are in this ocean. And it was just exciting to be there. What you think about it, baby?
Yeah.
You get that? What was your big thing about that?
I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the boat ride. I enjoyed the beautiful trees. They have the most unique trees, and we learned that the buildings cannot exceed the tree line.
Yeah, that was,
so you really couldn't tell what was behind the trees. You had to really look for the signs and different things. But that's a very relaxing atmosphere if you want to just totally unwind and just just relax. A relaxing atmosphere. Nothing chaotic about it. Not a lot of traffic. It was just on the beach, really, like I say, relaxation. And I most definitely would like to go back again.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you all, tonight, y'all, I told you we're going to be bringing in some exciting people this month. Last month, we talked about fathers and fatherhood because that was our theme. Going back to school, I always said around this time of the year, we're going to bring educators in here. And I've been blessed. Like you all know, I'm a stylist, run my own salon, and I've done a lot of educators, a lot of teachers in my time, and I've been blessed to really, really have them in my corner, be able to talk to them, be able to actually help me and my wife in some endeavors, dealing with our children going to school and stuff. So I've been blessed beyond measures with just the educators that I've been privy to just have a relationship with. So this month and the next month, that's what we're going to be talking a lot about, is getting our kids ready to go back to school, getting our children mindsets ready for going back to school. But tonight, we're going to talk to the parents. I'm going to introduce my guest real quick, and then I'm going to let her give another little small resume because I don't want to leave out nothing. I want to make sure you all know who we have in this building on tonight. This young lady has went the extra mile. She is our guest tonight. She's a passionate educator, an accomplished leader, an author, an advocate for families and community. She is dedicated to her career developing students and empowering parents to strengthen leaders, you all. Her name is Dr. LaJoya Van Hook. I'm going to put that out there, y'all. This is also a friend of mine. We do praise and worship together, so we have been able to build a brotherly sister bond, I feel, because we're next to each other, and
all the time.
When you're doing worship with a brother or sister, you build that thing because you build that energy off that person when you're up there doing. Anyone who knows about praise and worship knows what we're talking about. Yeah. But Dr. Van Hook, LaJoya, thank you, first of all, for coming.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, young lady. We've been talking about this. I think we talked about this last year, and now we are able to do this, but we have a purpose behind it now. Amen. So that's important. Yeah. You just don't do things out here and don't have a purpose. That's one thing that we've been trying our best to do with this platform, and everything we do is have purpose with our conversations. We're not just putting out information that's negative. We're putting out positive things. And tonight, parents, if you're listening, you're going to get some on tonight. I promise you're going to get some. So, Dr. Van Hook, please give us a small resume. Anything that I didn't hit. Oh, yes, author. Talk about that because we're going to jump into that. But give us a small resume before we get started into our conversation on tonight.
Hi, everybody. I am Dr. LaJoya, and I am from the great city of Chicago. I moved to Tennessee when I attended Fisk University, the Harvard of the South, might I add. And so I have been here ever since. I have served in education. This is going on my 14th year. And so I have taught second grade, I've taught third grade, and then I skipped to the high school level, which was it was very much so a learning curve. However, the kids are not that much different.
Wow.
Because sometimes they act the same.
Wow.
I love my kids, but you know what? High school is an honor. It's an honor to be a part of a high school just because of how you see the students matriculate from freshman year through their senior year.
Right.
The maturity that takes place, God bless that maturity that takes place. You know, I look forward to that light bulb coming on inside of them. Usually starts between sophomore and junior year.
Right.
But I really am working hard and diligently to get them to take their freshman year seriously. Just because by the time they get to their junior year, some opportunities, it may be too late just because of their GPAs and all of that. And so behaviors and all of that goes in on that as well. So I'm really just an advocate for the kids. I'm an advocate for our community. I'm an advocate for parents. I really want to make sure that they are successful in every way possible.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna dive on in real quick.
Let's get it.
Yesterday you made an announcement at church about parenting empowerment symposium that you're about to launch.
Yes, I'm so excited.
This is the first time in my whole life. Seriously. And I've had 2 children, and I have never heard of a parenting empowering symposium or just a summit to empower parents. Our last interview we talked with Brother Anthony Hall, and he deals with a lot of youth as well, but everything that we've been talking about has been dealing with youth. Your thing, what made you actually want to do something to help parents to think better or to challenge them to be better for their kids as students and things? What actually made you say, I want to speak to the parents?
You know, last year was a very difficult year. We had some heightened interactions with some parents, and honestly, I think it was all because they were uninformed about the processes, about the systems. And a lot of times when the emotions are heightened, they don't really hear us, right? About the processes and all of that. And so if I could help people to be more proactive about the academic success, what comes with the code of conduct, what does the state say about this? How do we allow for students to have these accommodations, and why did we not give them all of your list of desires for accommodations and modifications? Then I need to help. And what's interesting is I was thinking about leaving the field of education this year. And I was like, this is it for me, because I can't take it anymore, because we have to take, as a leader, you have to take it from everybody, right? You get it from the students, you get it from the parents, you get it from the staff, you get it from the upper level. And at that point, I was just at my wit's end. I'm like, no, I don't deserve this, and I don't feel like my life should be, affiliated with this, as a leader. But and I will also add, I got accepted into a master's program for a psychology for counseling and marriage and families therapy, because that's what I was going to do. Aside from education, but God knows what he is doing a lot of times. And so he told me to use this school year and turn the pain into purpose. Right.
Wow.
And so this summer I said, I'm going to be outside. I'm going to be on the rooftop somewhere. I'm going to be in somebody's pool. I'm going to come and go as I please. God had me isolated. And when I tell you, he birthed a lot of things this summer in me. And I know I have to move on them, because when God gives me a vision about something, I always have a fear that he's going to pass the mantle to somebody else if I don't do my part, right? Yeah. And so the Parent Empowerment Summit was definitely the first layer that he gave it to me. He woke me up at like 4 something in the morning. I'm like, Lord, can you just it's summer break. Can I just sleep a little bit? Just a little bit. And when I tell you, it was just flowing. So I just got my phone and took some notes. I asked pastor, I said, hey, can I use the church for this? I want to do this. He's like, I think that's excellent. And it was on green after that.
Wow.
So can you go a little bit more in depth? Because I know most time parents, only thing we get to do is go to open house. You go, you meet the teachers, you see the classroom. But what you're speaking about is more. Can you elaborate on what people what they should expect?
Yeah, so like certain topics we're going to be talking about are what does academic success look like? And it's not just going to a traditional 4-year college, right? How do you save financially to be able to go to the institutions to build the career that you want to build? So there are opportunities for 2 years for free. There are opportunities for scholarships, and you need to know if your school is a flagship school because you get free tuition. And so these are things that people don't know about. Aside from that, how do we allow our students to be successful for college and career readiness, right? How do we get them from that 9th grade year? Because I feel like 9th grade is the reset for education and their trajectory. They play in elementary and middle, which is fine, but that 9th grade year is a reset for them. So everything that they do from 9th grade on and beyond matters.
Right.
And so what does that look like? What can I prepare my child for? Even in elementary, we're addressing all levels. So we're not addressing just high school. How can my student be proficient in ELA and math in elementary? What can I do to prepare my child to be in proficient? How can I bridge this gap of sight words and, the phonics and all of that? So we'll be addressing all of that. What can they do in middle school? Can they take advanced courses in middle school? Because we have opportunities that they could take high school courses at the middle school level. And so I want to make sure that we attack all of those things. We talk about all of those things. Why is attendance important? Stop picking your children up at 11:01 when you know that the day already counts. Because that attendance, they're missing the rest of the day. And so that's building, widening the gap even more. We're going to talk about all things athletics. How do the students, what to expect from student athletes, We're going to talk about 504s and IEPs and how to get those. What does the processes entail to actually get them? If you get rejected, why did you get rejected? So we're going to be targeting all of those things, all things education.
So when you say a 504, slow down a little bit for me because I need to want clarity for me and for people that's listening. What is the 504? What does that consist of? Or what are we talking about with that?
So those are students who are medically diagnosed, right? And so if your student has a medical diagnosis and you feel that it is impeding on their learning in any way, so for example, anxiety. If the student have anxiety, sometimes they don't want to answer a question. Sometimes it may kind of cause a delay in their assignments, and sometimes they might need extended time. And so that is their protection. Like, here's your accommodation, but it's a process. It's an evaluation process that they have to go through. And so in the event that the evaluation says yes, and it's always a team decision. So 504s and IEPs are always team decisions. It's not just one person's decision.
So, because I know my daughter had an IEP, and I had to, like you say, they don't really just go out and tell you. So I had to explore, because when she went to college, I was like, can she have EIP in college? And it took them a little time, but yes.
Yeah.
So I think what you're doing is wonderful because parents don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, she was an EIP and I still really didn't understand it. I just know she had to have extra, like you say, time on test. She had to be pulled out from the group. Yeah. So it's a whole, and then sometimes I think she would be a little bit embarrassed because our friends are taking the test together, but why are you being signaled out to come and take it in another room?
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome. And I know a lot of people, my brother, when he was growing up, he was diagnosed with ADHD. And of course, my mom, no one took the time to explain it to her. So she would not give him the medicine. And so he would constantly act out.
Yeah.
And that's how he done it throughout his school.
Yeah.
And so I think what you're doing gives parents an explanation, and they can, make the decision. Like, I wish my mom had it, because then I feel like she could have put him on a medicine. He could have done a lot better in school.
Yeah.
But because he didn't have it,
Yeah.
He just acted out. And then, of course, he was labeled from then there, from then on.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like, people automatically assume medicine. There are alternative routes to dealing with ADHD, like therapy. And I love the therapy route, because I feel like sometimes the medicine kind of just zones the kid out, and it's just a temporary fix, But I love that there are more avenues for them to kind of like cope with that diagnosis. So, yeah.
I want to stay right there real quick, and I don't mean to pop on y'all question, but me, when I hear that, when we had to put my daughter in the IP and do everything, me, sometimes I took it as, are we being so protective of them that we're not letting them grow and be resilient and figuring out, because I didn't know nothing about that when I was in high school. I might have needed that, when I was in high school.
Sure.
But they didn't talk about our emotions or what's going on.
Yeah.
So now it's all about the child's emotion and what they're going through, and we're trying to figure out what their mind is going through. And sometimes I feel like we can take those things and hold them back. Do you think that we do that sometimes with those type of programs and things?
If you're in denial, then yes.
That's good.
Denial is the key to holding your child back.
Wow.
If you even just feel that there are some learning deficits, right? Because, so let me go back.
Yes, come on.
Before students start kindergarten, they should have some sort of foundation of letters and numbers, right? Even if it's from 1 to 10, even if you just sing an ABC song, right? It doesn't start at the school. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, because if they don't come in with those foundations, then they've already been behind, right? And so those gaps widen as we don't do our part in the home. And so I think that the assumption is, well, the school will catch them up. But I want you to understand there are 21 different kids in this one class that can be in the classroom at the kindergarten route, right? That's a lot of 5-year-olds in one classroom. And so we're dealing with all of these kids, and they're on a lot of different levels. So how do we get those gaps, right? Now, to your question, I think that if the parent is in denial about the children's learning gaps, then that's going to hold them back. However, I think that it's the parent's job to advocate for the student. Hey, I think that my child is experiencing these gaps. Can we explore some testing? Can we explore, I think my child may have autism. Is there a test that we could take? And then you can also take your child to the doctor to explore those deficits as well, just not the learning piece. But we have school psychologists at the schools to do those evaluations, and they will be able to determine whether or not the child needs an IEP or not. Yeah.
So, like I said, in parenting, I think we did okay.
Y'all did a great job.
I think we did okay. I think we could have done some things better with our second child. We could have put her in more things, like when she started her preschool. We were more concerned about her emotions instead of her education.
That's a good thing, though. I think that balancing, right? Balancing, because now the big thing that we are focusing on is social emotional. And the kids have to be in a very great state in order to take in the learning.
Okay. I ain't mean to cut you out, Joy, but I gotta go here with you, sis. I gotta go here with you. In your day, my day, they didn't care about what you felt or how you. Not. They just said, do what you're supposed to do. Go to that class, sit in there. They never took the time. So how today, how when the child is going through something like that and they're struggling going, and the parent doesn't know, how does that light come on for the parent, or what if no one knows and the child just goes through school lost?
Yeah. So educators, I feel, have that instinct to know when a child is not performing at their best, right? And so if I know, and I have some students who can be challenging, but they're not challenging with me, right? Because I see them. And I think that when the child feels that you see them, then they are prone to opening up. And sometimes my students open up too much. I said, please don't tell me anything that I have to testify against you.
Right.
But no, I think that they have to, especially at the high school and that middle school phase, they have to feel seen. A lot of times in the climate that we are in our country, they have too much access to things. And so a lot of those things are, they take it in, they digest it, and they don't know where to put it. And so a lot of times they are acting out, right? I think I tell my students this all the time. Social media is the worst thing that's happened for you.
Wow.
It's the worst thing, because I don't understand how we continue to misuse it. Use it for good, right? Don't use it for bad. And so I think they just have to learn how to find the good in all of it, And so the access is too much. And then there's not a lot of what is it? When the parents can kind of look at what they're doing, monitoring on their
control.
Yeah, I think there is not enough parental control on those. And so you really don't know what your child has access to or what they've been consuming. And so that's where it kind of spills over into the schools.
So let's throw a question to what you just said right there. You said social media is not good for them, or you feel like they're just using it the wrong way?
It can be good.
Okay.
I think that it is misused. And I don't know if their prefrontal lobes are matured enough to where they could handle something that has so much access.
So what's the age limit you feel that children should be allowed to even look at social media?
18. No, I'm just playing.
I mean, that's a great.
Well, and I'm saying that just because of being in a school where social media is kind of like the foundation of the drama, right? And so I really don't want them to even have access to it. However, if I had to say, I would probably say 16.
16.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I feel like that's kind of like you're going into your junior year, your sophomore, junior year. And I feel like you've had the maturity to be able to, handle, you've built some healthy relationships at the school by that time in high school. And so I think that would be a fair age to say, yeah, they should probably have access to it with parental controls.
So do you think the schools will ever get to a point where the phones are not allowed until either like lunchtime or once you leave school?
I love that you asked that question, because that is a state law that went into effect last year.
What?
There's a cell phone ban in the schools at the Tennessee state level. So It is a state law that no cell phones are allowed in schools.
So real quick, how do you deal with, because I work with some young mothers and they hate that rule because they was like, well, what if I need to get in touch with my child? I think that is so unfair. And I'm like, really? Because I'm like, they're there to get an education. You can always call the office.
Correct.
What could you possibly need with your child during school?
Sure.
You are the parent.
Sure.
You are the adult. But it's just, I think that control issues so they can check the location, see, just, I guess, text them while they're in class, So I did not know this. So they have passed that. Yeah. That's awesome.
That is a big battle that we are dealing with daily, obviously. It's nothing that they will like go to jail or anything over, but it is something that the districts are required to have a plan in place for discipline purposes.
Okay.
I'm gonna speak to that cell phone thing real quick. We were talking about The Shy, y'all, when we walked in, and that's a TV show that me and my girl over here, we like. Me and my wife, we watch it, and they had an episode where the teenagers said we're gonna have a party without phones. Y'all remember that episode?
Almost died.
At first, they was looking like, okay, can we do it? Can we? But they looked like they had a better time.
Yeah.
Without the phone because they were so engaging. They were so, and I think that's the problem with our children. They're not engaged in life, in community, and going outside. Y'all, we had to go outside. It wasn't no sitting in the house, and it wasn't no. And do I say it was better then? I can say I feel like it was, because I don't feel like a 10-year-old, 12-year-old needs to know that it's a murder case out there.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's just too much. And this, I hate to say this, y'all, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. Me and this guy, we were talking, and we said, and I hate to say this, but I'm gonna say it, y'all. Why is everything sped up right now? We feel like our children are not gonna see older ages because we're moving too fast. Everything that we're doing, from the phones to the TVs to the video games, we sit outside and watch my daughter play a video game that looked like a movie. We didn't have that in our brains, LaJoy. So we're destroying them. We're putting it's too much being downloaded on our children, y'all. So that's why they can't cope with dealing with a love relationship or person to person talking like we're talking. They don't even like to do this. They like I be trying to tell my sons and them like, why don't you? And they have great friends because he's in the fraternity and everything. So, and that's one, we ain't gonna talk about that fraternity thing. We'll leave that thing alone. But that it's too fast, y'all.
Yeah,
it's moving too fast.
Yeah, technology has definitely sped up a lot of things. And I always said, if you are a millennial, you are the best generation because you had the best of both worlds, right? And so we lived the time without technology, where the AOL dial-up was like, no thanks, I'll just go outside and go play at that point. And so we were there for the inception of Facebook, and I don't even know if y'all remember, but Black Planet and MySpace and Tag, right?
Yes.
Like, these are throwback spaces that we used to, talk about, but they were never toxic. And so I don't know where it went from just a joyful time on social media, just, talking to your community and all of that, to a really dark space. And I think that's really what impedes the kids' emotions when they're consuming so many negative things, right? You become what you consume.
That's it.
And so if you're constantly seeing these rappers doing these things, right? Participating in these activities, then you essentially become that. And so that's really what the part of the battle is, trying to get them off the social media. I need you to fast, okay? Fast from social media for 30 days.
Oh, they will have a fit. They wouldn't know what to do. Because my daughter, she put her phone in the shop yesterday, and we was out relaxing. And I could say, give me 5 more minutes. We didn't know it closed at 5.
Oh.
And so she had no phone.
Died,
and it was so funny because every time we looked around, she was standing right there next to us. We was like, what's wrong with you? No, I mean, usually we don't see her.
Yeah.
We saw she hung around the kitchen with us. She was just like glued to us last night. But then she got the phone back today, and of course we hadn't seen her.
Yep.
So I mean, they are lost without those phones.
Addiction.
Even the Shy had that on that night where the kids, all the phones got taken, and they were like laying on the floor, like what? They didn't know what to do. I'm like, go ride a bike,
right?
And I'm wondering, do these kids really know how to ride a bike? Because that's how we did. We rode our bikes everywhere.
Go skate.
But go skate.
Yeah. Jump rope. Play basketball.
Yes.
Football,
throw. Just do something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so a lot of their social skills are kind of diminishing because we're in our phones a lot.
So, LaJoya, what are we creating? if we don't have social skills, what are we creating?
Well, I think that careers now are accommodating people who don't have those social skills.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, well, not in education because you need social skills to teach, okay? We're hiring, by the way, if y'all are. But if I'm really being honest, careers are really accommodating because this is not new, right? And it's not just the addiction, but it's the social awkwardness that comes with, just growing up and all of that. We have had a lot of people that we've grown up with that are socially awkward, but they have accommodations in the career fields for them.
Wow.
So I think that they just have to we offer like career inventories to like 7th graders and then I think it's 10th grade, where the kids can talk about like what they like to do, what they don't like to do. And it kind of like builds this list of ideal careers that will fit what they like to do.
Gotcha.
So.
Gotcha.
Okay, I was reading your bio. So can you elaborate on this? You spearheaded the inauguration of a barbering and esports program.
Oh, yes. So, okay. I am over the career technical and education department. That's one of my departments that I oversee. And so we have different, avenues that students could explore career-wise. So we have cosmetology, we have construction, we had AV, but it was not a popular program. We have business management, health science, so the kids could earn certifications for nursing and all of that. And so my principal at the time, he really wanted to start another program. And he was like, Dr. Van Hook, I'm putting this in your lap. Wait a minute. And so, which I thank God for him for giving me that experience, right? So we partnered with the district, talked to the leaders about how do we go about doing this. We had to remodel 2 classrooms, which is really nice. So we started with our barbering students, and this year we will have our first group of seniors who will be going through who will have completed the program. And so we've had it for 4 years, going on 4 years now. And so our boys are excited about having something that it is a barbershop for real in there. Like this a feel that they have. They have a teacher who mentors them, he brings in other barbers, other stylists to come in and talk to the boys and some girls, right? They have to do so many hours in order to earn their certification by the time they graduate. And this year, I'm so excited that they will be having some dual enrollment opportunities. So they'll be enrolled at TCAT while at our school so that they can earn those hours at the school, which is allowing them to speed up their time to their license.
So I'm going to cut you off, Judy, but we had cosmetology when I was in school, okay? And they were able to get their license in high school. Are they able to get their license in high school?
They will have hours towards their license. And so if they decide to continue, they will go to like their typical barbering or cosmetology school and then finish out their hours there. But our goal now is to try to get them to start in their 9th grade year so they can earn their license by the time they graduate.
So they actually can't earn them before that's
if they're serious about
it.
Yes.
Right. And like I say, that was something I know several girls who got their license in high school. So to bring that back, that's huge. Yeah. That is amazing.
And so if I can talk to the esports.
Yeah, I was going to say esport.
Our esports is actually a brand new program that we are starting this year. And I'm super excited about it because our kids are into gaming, right? And so now they're going to be building their own games. That's a program where they can build and play their own games. Wow. So I'm super excited. We're the only school in a district that has this. And so I'm really excited about, the inception of this program as well. And they will be able to compete. They will be able to, earn certifications. And then they probably will be able to go straight into the career field. So
so they have college courses for that as well now. And if I would have had EA in my day and could play video games, I still play video. I'm 55 and I still play video games.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
And if I could have had that, y'all, I think that I would have made that my career.
Yeah.
I would have made that my career, seriously. I would have literally been trying to whoop somebody. And I know people that's getting paid like big money in the gaming industry.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about them to like have that opportunity, you know.
So if you do like a tournament or something, you need to invite me.
You.
Please do. Because, hey, Mortal Kombat.
Don't do it.
I will invite you, especially when they build their games. I'll definitely have you come out and play them.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yes.
Some students building games.
Yep.
And y'all have the technology to actually afford them to do this.
Listen, I'm going to actually take pictures of the classroom.
Wow.
I'm so excited. That classroom will be a 180 turnaround.
Wow.
Yeah. Fresh paint, new desk spaces, workspaces, the updated technology, all of the above. Like, yeah. You go in that room, you're going to be excited just to be in there.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so you had to hire different staff that can teach those to the kids and everything.
Yeah. And so the teacher that we've hired, I'm excited about him taking this program to the level that we're expecting him to take it. So he's excited about it as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about your Tennessee STEM?
So each school has an academy. And so we were formerly known as the STEM Academy, but I actually rebranded it because I felt STEM was in every school. And so it was hard for us to recruit just because students were like, I can go over here and do STEM if I wanted to, or I can go, you know. And so we have switched over to an engineering and design academy. And so at the state level now, I was thrown into this designation thing my first year. And mind you, I came into my assistant principal role in the middle of the school year. So I didn't get to start at the beginning of the school year as an AP, but I came in like September. And I'm like, I'm learning as I'm going. And so my principal at the time was like, oh, you have to do this designation application with the state. What? And so there was a lot of narratives we had to write. There was a lot of evidence we had to provide. And it is one of those things that if you don't get it, you just don't get it, right? You can try the next year until you do. We got it on the first try.
Wow.
Thank God.
Wow.
But that was with collaboration. And I will always stress collaboration will get you so far, right? If you try to work on it by yourself, you're not going to get it as fast, right? And so I leaned on the team at that time. I leaned on the district leaders at the time. I even leaned on the state representative, like, can you help me develop these narratives? And so we went into the COVID year. And so we got the email when we were out of school saying that we were approved for designation. So we are designated for 5 years, which we do receive funding from the state for the program. And the students, you know, we get updated equipment for the students and all of that, whatever the students need. And so that was in 2020. And then it was up last year. So we started the redesignation application and we were approved for that this year. And so we are good for another 5 years, which is awesome. Yeah.
She also got nominated for a couple of other awards. Wasn't another award you got a nomination for?
I was nominated for the 40 under 40.
Yeah.
I believe that was in 22, if I'm not mistaken. And then I was nominated for Women Who Rock.
Women
Nashville.
Who Rock. Okay, okay. You rock, girl. Look at you. So another thing. Is it harder today, you think, parenting or being the child? Which one you think is harder in this day and time?
I think that it's on both ends. I think it's equal because you have the pressures from society of being a student. There are a lot of things that, you know, are in the schools, that happen in the schools where students are pressured to make certain decisions, good or bad. And so I think that it's hard to be a student now. And honestly, I tell the kids all the time, I'm glad I grew up when I did because we didn't have nearly half of the things that y'all experience. And so it's hard being a parent too because of what they have access to. And how do you really kind of protect your child from that of the world. And I think that now with a lot of things are really loud and bold and views are loud and proud, right? How do you tell your child that this is the way of the world and it's not just history? You know, how do you protect your child from that world? And I don't want to go here, but when we're thinking about Nolan,
yes,
how could that parent have protected her child? You know, and I think I've seen commentary on the parents failed him. No, they did not. He still made his choices. Those were his friends. He believed those were his friends, you know? Yeah. And we don't know necessarily what happened, but that baby didn't come home. And so we have another mother who is grieving their child. And so how do you protect your child from those instances to make sure that they come home, you know? And so a lot of times I think that it goes both ways. It's hard to be a student and it's hard to be a parent.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Cause, Trinity's first year of college, we did experience something, and her dad and I, we sat down and we made that decision. We was like, we're pulling you out. Cause this was like her roommate.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd rather keep you safe. And, you know, because we could have easily been Nolan's parents.
Yeah.
Because, you know, some things went down.
Yeah.
And hers was the opposite race as well.
Yeah.
And as parents, we had to make that tough decision. And I'm glad that, you know, we took the time. We just didn't brush it off.
Sure.
You know, and we're still talking to her today about that incident.
Yeah.
You know, because it's still rocky.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you still have to be around those kids.
Yep.
And she experienced losing a lot of friends because of the incident. And it wasn't even her fault.
Yeah.
So I, you know, in theater, and I prayed for Nolan's parents on today, because, you know, like you said, that's another parent, your child is gone.
Yeah.
Where the other parent, you still have yours, but mine is gone, and I can't get that back.
Yep.
So you're right. It's hard for the students as well as the parents, because you want to make their right decision. And I feel like we made the right decision, you know?
Yeah.
Because I my new thing at 54 is peace.
Yes.
You know, and I tell her, if something's going to rock your peace, then step away, you know?
Yeah. I always have to tell our kids, you know, they don't really have that emotional maturity just yet. And so, you know, when they get really upset, I'm like, and so how is this impeding your learning? What does this have to do with your, you know, your college application? What does this have to do with your future? This is just temporary. And if you make any kind of moves, that's a mark on your record that you don't want, you know? And so some of my kids are down. Some of my kids, you got to pray for me. They are not as easy to talk down, but once they come, they realize who's in front of them. They're like, okay, I hear you. You know, so yeah, I think that you did. I think that you made a good choice, especially with the climate today. You just never know. You never know. And that's why I always advocate for HBCUs. Things happen at HBCUs too, but when I tell you, when I went to Fisk, that was the 4 years I did not have to worry about being Black. I was in Catholic schools from K through 12. And so my high school was primarily like Hispanic and, you know, Black and they're white as well. But like when I went to HBCU, that was mind opening for me. Like, oh, we can all operate in the same space and there's no issues. And you had your issues every now and then, but it was just the Black excellence that you got to see every day, the grind, and to see where those classmates are now. We didn't play about our education. We didn't play. And you had people who around you who cared, who held you accountable. Like, sis, we need to go to the library right now. And we would be in the library until John Hope Franklin's library until midnight, walking across the campus, going back to our dorms. make sure that paper was done, making sure our brothers were studying for the test that we had. It was just that huge level of accountability that we were able to, have access to. And I don't know. I also don't know about any other school because all I know is HBCU right now. So.
Yeah. And we are products of that as well. Mm-hmm. I wish we would have graduated and did our thing. Like she graduated from another school. She didn't finish at TSU, but we met at TSU. And the camaraderie at TSU was amazing.
Yes.
And I'm talking about the atmosphere, everything that you felt proud to walk around on campus at TSU. Yeah. You didn't feel like you was going to be attacked or felt inferior by no other race. I mean, and at that particular time we were 19, so we were just trying to figure ourselves out. You know how you trying to figure yourself out, but absolutely about HBCUs. This time goes by fast, so I want to get something else in there before you get out of it, LaJoya. I'm going to give you a quick lightning round. Then I want to talk about your book real quick before you get out of here because I want to hit on the topic. You got to give me something. So this is the quick lightning round, and you can just give quick answers. Some great ones.
Okay.
Gentle parenting or firm parenting?
Firm parenting.
Consequences or second chances?
Ooh. I have to choose. Like I can't find can it be scenario based?
Be a scenario. You can come on.
Okay. I feel it depends on the infraction. So when we're looking at these teen takeovers, right, there has to be some level of accountability. So for that, something as grand as that, I would say consequences, right? But for second chances, like parties, like little things, I would say second chances.
Okay, I like that. Cell phone before 16.
Heck yes. No, absolutely not.
Should kids earn trust or should trust be automatic?
Ooh. From the parent?
Mm-hmm.
I think that it should be built. I think that the parent has to, give them some grace to be able to build that trust.
One word every parent needs more of.
Grace.
I had to speak to that one. And then the last one. One habit every family should start now to help their children be better in this world.
Talking to them more.
That's good, girl. That's
communication.
Family discussions.
That's good.
Yeah.
Sitting down and having dinner again. And really, we got to bring that back into life. We have to start, and it's to every parent that is out there, y'all. Y'all just heard a doctor tell you all. I had to throw that in there because you really, really do the research on these things. It ain't like you just talking. That's why I did that rapid fire questions real quick because we have to, you understand what she just said, you all. We have to start speaking, having those conversations, diving into these kids' minds, because if we don't, we just told y'all what's going to happen. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok is going to be their daddy. It's going to be their mama. And we're going to be out here stuck with a generation that's raised by social media. Yeah. I'm going to let you all elaborate on that real quick, and then we got to jump to our other subject real quick because we don't have a little bit of time. Y'all have anything y'all want to say about that before we jump to this next subject?
I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, that's all I can say. I totally agree with you. I'm glad I'm my age. I don't want to grow up during this age time right now. I really do not. So I'm with you on that.
And I think that parents do need a lot of grace parenting these children. One of my favorite lines I tell the kids, they're like, "You're not gentle principling," and I'm like, "I can't gentle principal a non-gentle student," you know. And so we joke about that around the school, but yeah, like I think that we have to. I think parents get a lot of flack, and they have a lot of pressure, and there are a lot of things that they can't control, like work hours and all of that. And so I want to be able to build that community for them, so that they could, be informed as well when they can't make it to open houses, when they can't make it to the IEP meetings, when they can't make it to the parent-teacher conferences,
Wow. it's so much more I want to talk about the education piece, and we will bring you back, LaJoya, because like I say, my education month, I like to put a lot of great information out there, but I want to shift real quick before you leave our platform on tonight. We have an author in the building, you all, and LaJoya. LaJoya, tell us about your book a little bit. Then I got a good question to ask you about this book, girl. Tell us about this book you wrote.
Okay, so I have 2 books. I have one called The Operation Save Our Pastors. That was my very first book. I released that one in 2018. And then my second book was released in 2023 or 4. And it's called The Frustrated Wait.
Okay. The one I want to talk about is the first one.
Okay.
What was the idea, or what was the premise behind writing this book? What made you even, because the topic alone speaks volumes. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so I felt at that time where I was writing my dissertation, I felt there was enough research about education. And I didn't feel, at that time, I didn't feel the need to contribute any more research to it. And so I was like, well, what is something that I'm actually passionate about? Well, I'm a church baby, right? Was born and raised in the church. And so my godfather back at home was my home pastor. I have like these nicknames for pastors. His pastor, which I consider my grand pastor, he was a pivotal point in my in pastors for me. He was a super dynamic leader. He still is around, but he's retired now, thank God. Then I had a great grand pastor, which is none other than the Clay Evans. That was Reverend Thurston's pastor.
Okay, you knew him.
And so
you actually knew
I've met Clay Evans several times.
Girl.
He was actually my godmother's pastor before she got married to my godfather. And so, going from my home church, original Philadelphia, every Sunday I had 3 churches. I went to 3 churches and 4 if we had a guest church to go to. And I had New Covenant right after, and then I had Fellowship right after that. So I've always been around pastors because my godfather always had me. My godparents always had me for the summers or on the weekends, whatever. They took me everywhere. And so we was around a lot of pastors, and a lot of times I'm like, oh, okay, well then I should probably study like pastors because that's what I know. And I know that I could have this as a study group to do the study because I know that it's a lot of willing participants that would be, that would participate in it. And so I noticed that a lot of them, they do have a lot of stress that comes with dealing with God's people and the systems that come with operating the church and all of that. And so a part of me wanted to be able to contribute in that regard. And then they were also number 3 on the suicide list.
Wow.
At that time, yes. So that
like
really heightened my passion.
The number 3.
Doctors and lawyers and then pastors.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's what made you write that book, right?
Yeah,
there.
and I believe God was all in that because after I made that decision, there was a article that went out where a pastor committed suicide. And I was like, okay, God, I see you talking, you working. And so I did the study, and I really wanted to be able to help pastors. Like, this is what you need to do to kind of like decompress, step away, take a vacation.
I was just gonna ask you, what do they need to do?
It's okay to take a vacation.
And I totally agree with you. I hope my pastor's hearing this right now.
Amen.
It's okay for you to chill out and take a vacation because we need you and we want you to live, and you can be stressed out. The book, say the name of the book one more time.
Operation Save Our Pastors.
Operation Save Our Pastors, y'all. That along with what's going on in the world with the Drewski skits and all this stuff that they're putting pastors down and talking about, making a marker of the church. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some pastors out there that deserve what Drewski did. I'm not negating what Drewski did, but some of it has put a bad taste on just the whole thing of a pastor, because if it wasn't for certain pastors out here, we would be a lost generation, a lost world, because we have some great ones out here. Yep. Do we have some that's contaminated? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But the majority of my field are trying their best. So we're going to continue to pray for our pastors. LaJoya, that book, we're going to try to put that out there on our platforms and let people know about it. Tell us about your other book one more time.
It is The Frustrated Wake, and it is basically talking about what is the wait like when you're waiting on God to do something for you. And you get frustrated a whole lot in that wait, but what can we do to kind of minimize that?
That's good. We're going to end it with that thing,
Yeah,
frustrated in the wait.
Yeah.
Because
I like that book.
you want to elaborate on that real quick and take us on up out of here?
Now I'm just saying, hey, it's that daily. We battling things daily, and we're waiting on God. We want Him to answer like this.
Yep.
But when He don't, yeah. But I'm about to get that book, LaJoya, Dr. LaJoya, so we know how to wait.
Yeah.
I love it. Once again, y'all, this has been an amazing night, y'all. We have had a great conversation with Dr. Van Hook on tonight. Young lady, we appreciate you coming through and sharing with us. Like I say, Education Month, I know it's a great time of the year, and I even got we talked to you about my girl Zira Atkins are gonna come and
AP.
Ooh, come on, Zira. I know you might be out there listening to us, but
Yes, sir.
We're gonna bring her in before the school year starts back up. But we're gonna pray that every teacher, every educator, they have the tools that they need, the mental capacity that they need to go forth, and the resources. We're gonna start doing that more often. We're gonna put that in our prayer because I feel like resources is what's lacking. And we talked about this earlier. Pay our teachers, but we want to say we thank you on tonight. Our teachers need to get more, and the principals. Absolutely. I meant the whole education system. But we thank you all for just sharing with us on tonight. You have been listening to WFTB 104.1 Tab Nashville Gospel Radio, also being recorded, Sacrificial Conversations. We love you all. Be blessed, and we'll be back next week with another amazing show. Y'all have a blessed evening.